Today we're back inside of Diablo Immortal, and in the past I've showed you guys all of the legendary gear available for all of the other classes, but now we have the Necromancer. Now we can dive into every single legendary piece of gear available for the Necro, so let's dive into it. To do this, we're going to head on over to the Essence Transfer Vendor, and inside of here, even if you don't have the gear, you're able to take a look at it and you're able to get the details on that piece of gear, which is pretty darn sweet. So let's start things out right here when we're looking at the helmets. First of all, you can get a nice image of what it's going to look like, which is always cool, and when you click on it, it will show you the item itself and give you the details of it. In this case, skeletal archer inscription. Your skeletal champions are replaced with skeletal archers. So no longer the skeletons, instead you're gonna have archers. This is what we're gonna go through, showing you each piece, how it can modify your skills, your equipment, and your abilities inside of the game. And I want to remind you guys that I am coming out with Diablo Immortal videos every single day. So if you want to be here to watch them with me, subscribe and ring the bell. Next up, we have Coals for Eyes. The name is definitely awesome. And Kill Command Inscription. Command skeletons now cause your skeletal champions to explode at their destination, damaging all nearby enemies. Crown of the Gilded Leash. Command skeletons now raises a single powerful skeletal captain that can be ordered to whirlwind to your location. If you don't know, guys, this is the one that I'm using. Love it. So far, one of my favorite legendary pieces of gear. We have the Hideous Dawning, which is actually a pretty sweet looking headpiece. So let's see exactly what it has to do. Bone Spikes also causes enemies to bleed for additional damage, but no longer stuns them. So Bone Spikes. I like Bone Spikes, but I would never give up that skeletal champion for different Bone Spikes. Not gonna happen. No Mouth Face. Bone Spikes no longer charges up and instead immediately summons 3 forward moving spikes that knock away enemies. Again, these skills are great. They do modify things, and sometimes you have to give up a skill or a skill ability to get another one. Again, I'm not going to give up that skeletal champion for anything like this. Skull Veil, possibly the nastiest looking one of all. Look at that glowing face. Skeletal Mage duration increased by 20%, so that's pretty nice when you're using the skeletal mage, which I am, but you would be giving up any of the other skeletal skill that you have. Visitant's Sign. The command golem duration is increased by 20%. Mind you, the command golem is the final skill that you get inside of the game. Rot Spur shoulder pieces. Corpse's explosion no longer detonates corpses, causing them instead to release blight on the area that poisons enemies for continual damage. That is the most wordy description of all, but those were the words. Lone Preserver. This is the one that I'm using on my build, and Corpse Explosion now also inflicts a stacking chill, which can freeze enemies when stacked. So basically, when you use anything that's going to make your corpses explode, it'll freeze things up. So far, it's decent. Not my favorite, but I'm using it. Surge and Stillness. Corpse Explosion now also causes corpses to pull themselves toward the nearest enemy before exploding. So it's going to get them closer for more damage. Chasm Crosser. Bone Spikes range increased by 20%. Zeroko. Skeletal Mage damage is increased by 10%. Linger Mantle. Dark Curse duration increased by 30% if you're using the Dark Curse skill. Grave Dirt's Weight. Bone Armor now also grants immunity to all effects which knock you out of your position. Parting Gift. Bone Arrow now grants you and all nearby party members charges of damage immunity, each which prevents all damage from a single hit. Now this is nice because it's actually impacting your teammates, people around you as well. Gallowsborn. Generate corpses as you move during Wraith form. The Inviting Tomb. Bone Wall now creates a circular wall of bones that traps targets within it, but no longer has multiple charges. Ever Grasping Vestments. Bone Wall now summons a line of skeletal soldiers that charge forward in formation, damaging and knocking back their enemies. Exhumant's Backbone. Bone Wall instead summons a pillar of rotting corpses that knocks targets into the air, damaging them, and then slows all nearby enemies. Covet nothing. Bone Arrow now also damages nearby enemies when activated and increases their damage taken for a short time. Flickering Warmth. Bone Arrow instead summons 3 bone spikes that orbit you and damage all enemies they strike. Proximal Fear. Wrath form now causes enemies you touch to flee in fear of the damages that may come to them. Sacral Chases. Bone Wall duration increased by 25%. Rosen's Keening. Corpse Lance damage is increased by 10%. Graven Bulwark. Bone armor duration increased by 25%. Mournful Destroyer. Dark Curse now curses the ground in the area, causing enemies within it to take continual damage. Soul Chime. Dark Curse now causes enemies to explode on death, but no longer decreases enemy vision. I like that one. I think I'd like to get that one. Guided by Maggots is quite possibly the best name of all the armor in the game. Maybe. Dark Curse no longer decreases enemy vision, instead causing your minions within the area to frenzy, increasing their attack and movement speeds. Now we're diving into the weapons, which, as we all know, are some of the most popular things inside of the game, so this is going to be an important part. Pierce Hammer. Command Skeleton's damage increased by 10%. Clot Burst. Look at that weapon. That's just insane. Corpse Explosion damage increased by 10%. Priestess Grub Knife. Command Golem now summons a stone golem that throws boulders at enemies and rolls through enemies instead of leaping. Eel Tongue. Bone Spirit's damage increased by 10%. Accounting for Weakness. Command Golem now summons a skeletal golem that consumes and gains power from all nearby corpses, and which damages all enemies in its path as it leaps. Desolatoria. Command Golem now summons a molten golem that continually burns all nearby enemies instead of forcing them to attack or to stun them. And Blight Maw, which is the one that I'm currently using right now. Bone Spear also poisons enemies hit for 736 damage over 3 seconds. So this is your primary attack. It's going to cause more damage from your primary attack, which I would probably swap out for one of those golem options. We'll have to test that out and try it once I have it unlocked. Life in Balance. That looks legit insane. 10% of all damage you take is taken by your skeletal champions instead. The Prong. Decreases time required to raise new skeletal champions by 30%. Means essentially more skeletal champions on the playing field more often. Pyre's Allure. Bone Wall can now be ignited with Soulfire, dealing 1,936 damage over 8 seconds to nearby enemies. Baleful Trinity. Soulfire now bounces to one additional target, but deals 30% decreased damage to subsequent targets. Welcome End. Skeletal Mage now summons a powerful Grim Reaper, but has a longer cooldown. I'm using this one right now and I love it. Dominance from Dust. Your bone golem will split into 2 smaller bone golems when it dies. Beacon of the Lead. Wow. Command Golem damage is increased by 10%. What legendary gear are you guys most excited about? We shared so much of it with you guys today. Literally everything that the game has to offer at this point in time. You gotta let me know which ones you're most excited for and how you would build out your Necromancer. But we're out of here for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video, and remember, all the music you are hearing in the background is from Getaway Music Entertainment, which is my newest side project, where we're bringing you guys new albums every 2 or 3 weeks. A new one just dropped today, so I hope you guys go check it out. Wondering what the name of it is? It's Rapture, and it's some lo-fi beats, so go have a listen. Remember, guys, I'll be back tomorrow with another Diablo Immortal video. I want to see you guys there, so sub and ring the bell. Take care, and be good.